Support for today's episode comes from Goli. You already love them for their ACV gummies, but they also have another gummy, Super Greens. And did you know that Goli Super Green gummies contain vitamin A, an essential vitamin that supports a healthy immune system? We going into fall, y'all. You need to boost those immune systems. They are sugar-free, keto-friendly, and vegan-friendly. And another bonus, they're delicious too. And as a Boonie Breakdown listener, you can receive 10% off your purchase by using the code Boonie Breakdown. Details on how to purchase can be found in the show notes and on thebooниebreakdown.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Boonie, and you're listening to the Boonie Breakdown podcast, your source for all things responsible and ratchet.
All right. Welcome to this week's episode. We're going to have a good one. I felt like it made sense as I'm getting my footing and my rhythm back to have the homie Shika follow up an episode with our problematic fave. So that's right. This week's guest is the homie Shika. You know, you know how our little kikis be, but this one is interesting. We kind of parlay. I love that word. Parlay. That might be the Boonie's pick of the week. But we parlay about off of last week's episode. We talk about what it means to be single. We talk about roster building, a little bit of cuffing season maybe, and we answer 2 listener questions that I received about dating rosters and cutting those ties when you break up. All right. So stick around for that conversation. I just said pick of the week and I was going to do something else, but I feel like my pick of the week may be that, because I feel like words like parlay, it really feels like you about to say something like I want to parlay. I don't know. I'm acting crazy. But no, my real pick of the week is TikTok instructional videos. I feel like TikTok has like YouTube University is still the beast for long form content when you're trying to do tutorials and figure out how to do something. But sometimes those little 60-second, 90-second little TikTok videos really are transformative and life changing. The video that was going around, because I did not believe it, where your dishwasher, not the one where people were cooking salmon in the dishwasher. That's some nasty ass white people shit. But the one where they were talking about you could adjust the top drawer in your dishwasher, because you know all the times you try to put a cup or a glass or something in that one and it'd be too tall. All these years I've had a dishwasher. Now I didn't grow up with no dishwasher. We had to bust them joints out in the sink. But since I've been a homeowner, so for at least the last 12 years, I have had a dishwasher, and I never knew that until I watched that TikTok video. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. And then I was like, I'm going to get mad. Because when I first saw it, I didn't do it. Because I'm going to get mad at myself if I break my motherfucking dishwasher. Because it's only a year old. I would have been pissed as shit. Y'all, it's a whole little button tab on there that y'all not even looking at. That thing went clank, clank. And my tall cup, my 24-ounce cup fit in there. Life-changing. Life-changing. So pick of the week. TikTok instructional videos, especially the one about the dishwasher. That also feels like I'm so fucking old, right? Like, I know we're geriatric millennials, and I even fucking hate that term. I know not everyone listening to me is a millennial. Some of you guys are Gen X. I hope no Gen Zs are listening, but if you are, I love y'all too. But yeah, I just feel like that made me feel so old that was just revolutionized my chore life. Yep. That's all I got to say. Pick of the week.
Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
All right, we're just going to hop right into feedback from last week's episode. You guys really, really enjoyed the season opener with our problematic fave. I got a lot of comments about how great of an episode it was. Somebody said, oh my God, Boonie, I cannot believe. I actually was agreeing with Brian. Is this really growth? So many people said it was such a great episode, the perfect balance of responsible and ratchet. So I'm so happy that you all checked that episode out. All right. If you have not, you need to go back and listen to episode 221. All right. Oh my God, this is not housekeeping, but it is. Shika is going to love this because I feel like she's into the stars, moons, and shit and numbers like me. And this is episode 222. And I kind of feel like that means something that's like an angel number, right? And I'm Googling this as I'm recording it. But I feel like that's an angel number. And for Shika and I to do that episode, okay, it says, you're pursuing a passion or desire. You're not sure if you're on the right path. You may see the number 2222 over and over. The angel's letting you know that you are on the right path. Everything is working out. Just trust yourself and your life. Bam, 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 bam. I'll receive that message. Anywho, that was a deviation. But also, I want to shout out our Patreon gang. We have some new members in Patreon gang, some who joined while I was on hiatus. So we're shouting them out now. Lainey, boom, thanks. Welcome to Patreon gang. Mila, Mella, Carmela, I'm just going to say your whole government. Thank you. George, welcome. Monique, welcome. Aisha, welcome. Tam, welcome. So Patreon gang is growing. And if you're listening like, what the hell is that? That is our private community. They get some extra things. They get access to tickets first. They get events, virtual events. Like for example, they all got to live stream the New York live show for free. We have a Discord where we talk it up in our chat all the time, and they get extra Would You Rather Wednesday questions on almost every Wednesday, but for a good amount of the Wednesdays, they get extra questions. So you're interested, you want to join our community, you can head on over to patreon.com/the Boonie Breakdown. And also last week, I let you guys know that there was a promo code on all the new merch. Thank you guys so much for your support. That coupon code, that promo code is still good through November 5th. And that is 12 spelled out, all cap letters. And you can get some little coin off your purchase. So I appreciate you. Everyone who ordered last week, all of your orders have shipped out. So thank you. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're new here, I hope that you go ahead and hit subscribe, whatever platform you're listening on, Apple Podcasts, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. Just follow and subscribe. We appreciate the support there. And if that's too much for you and not enough, then you can head on over to our social media platforms. We are on the most active on Instagram. So that's at The Boonie Breakdown. On Facebook at The Boonie Breakdown. On TikTok at The Boonie Breakdown. On Twitter, we're just at Boonie Breakdown. So I love to engage with you. Those who have open pages, most of you guys know I really try to respond to every DM. Sometimes it's a lot, but I get through them. All right. So I'm very active there. I appreciate the support. Share it in your Insta story. Put the episode in your group chat. Just let everyone know about the Boonie Breakdown. All right. So that is it for me. So let's get ready to break it down. Hey, y'all. Hey. So look. It only made sense after our season opener with the problematic fave that now we have the homie Shika. So, hey, girl.
Hey.
How you be?
Right. How are you?
You know, I'm good. I'm making it. I feel a little overwhelmed. I thought after the live shows, I would have been like, yay. It's just it just moved somewhere else. So, but overall, I guess I can't complain.
True that.
I guess I can't complain.
I can, but I won't.
That's one attitude to have too. I'm sure I could find some shit that could I could complain about a lot of shit because don't you hate when motherfuckers just don't listen to you?
Yes.
And not even that you don't listen to me. This is something I rarely talk about 9 to 5 on here, but I just don't like when people say one thing and do another. Like their actions show another way. So your mouth is saying, oh, I trust you. You know, you're the subject matter expert. Make a decision. But all your actions are telling me you don't trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. I dislike that at work. And I also hate when they refer to me as an SME. I'm like, okay, so let me be that.
Yeah. If that's what I am, let me do my shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm really getting, a little, I don't know the word I want to say, but it's pissing me off at the end of the day is what it's doing. Yes, irritated. And it's tough because it's great. I don't have to go into an office. And at this juncture, it's really not an amount of money that could make me go into the office. Working at home saves me a lot of money, gas,
eating out, Starbucks, all of those great work clothes, shit I gotta wear to work.
I got rid of all my work shit. Like I don't have a pair of slacks in here because it's been 3 years almost, and it's like I'm just having these things and I'm not using it. So I got rid of a lot of that.
Yeah, it's just like that shit is so amazing. But the biggest reason why I can never go into an office again is I don't have to deal with these motherfuckers. Like, it's one thing connecting through the computer screen, but as soon as I hit that leave meeting, I'll be like, none of that cooler talk, that small talk. I don't want it.
Very honest with you, because we have two different types of positions. I'm at the point where I literally don't speak to anybody. I have to. Like, I have one coworker, and we don't even talk every day because we both be over everything. So we'll like check in via chat, but I literally talk to none of those people unless it's a meeting or someone asks me something, which is rare. So
yeah, like I'm okay with that. And I hate all that fucking propaganda that be out on the internet. Like, you got to go back into the office to foster relationships. No, because I have people in my life that I like. These are my coworkers. These are not my friends. And so I can be cordial with them. We can have a pleasant work environment. Yeah. But that's their place in my life. I don't need to know the bulk of their business, and they don't need to know none of mine. So
they planned the outing, declined. I think they're doing some type of community service day together. Won't be there. Like, I do not have to do that. And I'm not doing it because, to be honest, like, I've been in my agency for a while. And I know y'all enough to know that I don't really like y'all like that. It's cool for me. But I don't want to do the fake shit. Like, I don't want to laugh and kiki like I'm having fun with y'all. I don't really bang with y'all. No, thank you. And that's for actually anyone, like, across the field. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, I think that is fair to say, because we have friends.
Yeah. I don't want that. I don't need friends at work. It was cool when I had them. And then it's like when people left the agency or whatever, you know, the last friend I had at work got real weird after she left. And I was just like, after that, I was like, you know what? All that nice shit. Well, no, I'm not nice. I'm kind. I wouldn't say I'm nice, but like, you know, I'm a kind of person, and people kind of gravitate to me. What I've noticed and what I've realized, and this is something where, you know, from therapy and shit like that, you learn how you work on your boundaries and stuff. But like, people gravitate to me, and like, I just feel like there's a level of people wanting to be in my aura, or they get whatever they can from me, and then it's like they're not that great of people. And it's like, for me, I'm not interested in that anymore. Like, it was wearing me out, then I'd be annoyed because why the fuck are you a weirdo? Why did I hide your weirdness? Like, how did I not see it? And, you know, like, people wear masks and all that type of stuff, but it's frustrating, and I'm tired of that.
Yo, I had to go. Like, I hate, even some of my coworkers have like my cell phone number, and I hate it because, you know, so much shit is linked to it. So I don't want them getting like, oh, you may know on social media. Yes. So I tried to block, like, do preemptive blocks on all of them beforehand, which standard. But something happened, and I had to jump down a rabbit hole. It was not induced by me, but I had to jump down a rabbit hole of a coworker's social media. And that was some eye-opening shit, okay? Like, that's why I'm like, that's why you're not supposed to know the people you work with.
Yeah, I don't need to know you like that. Like,
they don't need to know. We don't need to know each other like that.
And because everybody has their own bias and things like that. And it's just like, it can change your perception of people and have you treating people differently depending on the type of person you are. So yeah, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell you offline. I don't care. Because you don't know, you know, the world is so small. Somebody be listening, like, wait a minute, I know who that is.
So that has happened to me, and it's very crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that offline. But I did, so that's funny. All of that work, womp, fuck offices. I'm not going back. Like, somebody asked that question on Twitter today, and at first I thought about it. At first, my first response was like an additional 80 to 100K maybe. And then when I thought about it, I was like, nope, it's not worth it.
I even sometimes think about like, oh, would I go in once a week? Because, before I was only going in 2 days a week. And I'm like, that seems like a bit much. Like, what's the point of going in 1 day a week? What the fuck is
not doing
it? I don't know.
It's not happening. So that shit is over. It's canceled. I do have, I had saved these. And at first I thought I was going to ask our problematic fave, but when I was reading these questions, I said, I'm going to save this for an episode with Shika. And so we have 2 of them. But before we get to these questions, I wanted to ask you, this has been the theme the last few weeks on the Boonie Breakdown Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
Shika, are you single?
Yeah.
What do you think what is your definition of single? Because I feel like this is where there's some confusion in the dating pool, is because people don't have a solid, firm understanding of what being single means.
Okay, so like maybe I'm old school, but I feel like if you're not in a relationship, then you're single.
Okay.
So for me, I'm not in a relationship. I'm single. Now, do I feel like because of how we, like men and women, kind of interact with each other, like casual shit is a little bit more or a lot more prevalent than like in our parents' generation and shit like that. So maybe there are degrees, but for me, if I ask somebody if they're single and they say no, that just means to me they do not have a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife.
Okay, that's your understanding. I asked this question on social media, and I think this is where it gets murky, because to me, my definition is pretty similar. I am single because I have no obligation to anyone. Right? Like, I'm not in a committed relationship exclusive with anyone. And there is no one out there who could be under the impression that I'm in a committed, serious relationship with them. So there we go. I'm single. And some of the answers that I received were on that same page, like not in a committed relationship. Each party must agree that you're in a relationship.
A nigga said that.
Actually, no.
I feel like women often feel like they're relationships, but maybe men aren't.
Men skirt around it. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a good amount were leaning where we were, but there was a few that I thought were a little murky, where it was just like, you're not married.
Okay.
And I'm like,
but that,
I get what you're saying, but it's a lot of shit in between marriage and single.
And that was an old saying too, I think, because it's so funny. I was listening to a podcast today, and Dodge said the same thing. But I remember a friend of mine, mother, also saying that, like, you're single until you're married.
I've heard that too. You're single until you can claim them on your taxes or some bullshit people used to say.
Yeah, until you sign some papers, you're single. But of course, that leaves out relationships, people who are in committed relationships to each other. Even takes away engagement. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I can understand it because it's not law. It's not law. So it's like, if you and this person decided to break up, like, you can just walk away, quote unquote, like, you know what I mean? If you're married, then there's. So
you're saying because it's a cleaner break.
I think people feel that way because it's not legally binding, honestly. Like, it's not a legal thing. So who recognizes you're in a relationship besides you and the other person? Maybe that's the mindset. I don't completely agree, but I understand it.
That's fair. So yeah, I think that's what I was looking at. It's like when people are saying what is single and what's not single. And so I think you can be dating and still be single.
Yes.
Right? Like, That is fair. You can be dating and still single. And I think it was something that we talked about at the Raleigh live show, which I loved. And I'm going to bring Ayana on because she's never been on the podcast.
Oh, nice.
And I feel like everyone needs to hear her energy, those who couldn't make it to the show. But we were talking about attraction and dating and being single. And people were saying, like, whenever I can't remember who in the audience mentioned, they were like, whenever they travel, they feel like they connect more to men in other places than they do to men in their own city. And apparently this is like a scientific thing because people look alike in certain regions. So when you travel somewhere else, you're like foreign and it appears to be exotic. And so it's an intrigue in you because you look different, you sound different, you dress different than the people that they're used to. And so you come off looking like, a shiny quarter.
Versus just a dusty one.
Yeah. That was an interesting phenomenon, right? Like,
that's interesting. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm trying to think if I actually experienced that, traveling. And it's like, maybe some places.
Yeah, I think some places where you may look different or they hear your voice.
I'm a hit in New Orleans, New Orleans is cool. And outside of I think I went to New Orleans off season once. And a lot of times I was walking around by myself and it was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so it was very interesting. So I can't wait to have her come on to do that. But, for me, that was all, for me, I like to import penis. So, I was all over that, yeah.
Let's go somewhere. Let's go. Let's see the city and see. It's so funny you say that because you remember on my 33rd birthday, I went to DR by myself and the man there, he still hits me on Facebook and shit. I just be like, sir, this is not going to be a thing, but it's it's just funny to me that the effort that he tries to put in. And I don't be giving it much of nothing, much of any energy, because it's unrealistic to me. But
yeah, because I think for me, there's a reasonable distance for long distance.
Yeah, I'm not doing out the country.
International is wild.
Child, I'm not finna be on 90 Day Fiance. I'm not going to be on any because watch that
you're
shit.
You're not getting hooked up for the green card. You're not going to hook up for green card.
No, and that's the thing. I think if I remember correctly, and again, 33 was 5 years ago. Wow. If I remember correctly, he had a green card and had been here and lived here for some time and went back. So but no, I'm not I'm not interested in that. He was a gracious man. He gave me a service and left right on. And that was it for me. I was like, that was nice. That was kind.
That's the word for the evening. That was kind.
Appreciate it.
That was kind.
But I didn't have to do anything. And it felt for that to be my first vacation by myself. And then, 33rd. And I just remembered that was a year that I had been hitting therapy hard. And I was pushing myself to do things by myself. So going to DR by myself, it was just
that's a big deal. I've never traveled by myself. I kind
of want to do it again, but I don't know where. I might be okay with going somewhere in the US by myself. I always felt on a long trip, maybe I'll do something, beach or something like that. But I think I could go to another state possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it happens for me. I'm not sure about it, but we'll see. Maybe, possibly. But I do.
I did 3 days though. Like it wasn't like a week. It's like I got an early flight there. I left in the afternoon when I left. So it was just enough time to be alone, to, mingle and meet other people and not feel like, oh my God, this shit is boring. I'm by myself. What the fuck? Like it was enough.
No, I can see it. I'm shaking my head. I'm rocking with it. I can see it. Yeah, I don't know. Cause I feel like, I'm gonna do one but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I keep saying it out loud because I'm like, I do want to do like a little whole single trip, right? Pull out somebody, bust me down and go on about your business.
Yeah. I definitely caught the head and went on home. Like it was fine. It was perfect. Yeah,
yeah, like that's what I've been doing.
I ain't paid for nothing. Like I paid for it. Like it was just.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
that was kind.
Yeah, very kind of you. Thanks. And but what's interesting about it is that I find that people are kind of intrigued when you're by yourself. So anytime I was sitting at a bar or at a restaurant or somewhere by myself, somebody's gonna come talk. Like somebody
asked you.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, are you here by yourself? Wow. Why? And then it's like that, and then it's like, it was other dudes there, so I was meeting people. So it wasn't that bad.
Gotcha. All right, so we both established that we're both single.
Yes.
Do you have a roster? Are you interested in building a roster?
No. Okay. No, I don't have a roster. I was interested in building a roster, but I kind of feel like I'm good. I think, and something I kind of been unpacking the last couple of weeks or so, like I can do casual, cool, fine with all of that, but I'm just not into the antics of it sometimes. So if it's not anybody I already know, then I'm good.
Antics.
Yeah.
This is where I'm struggling because I was with you at one point.
Mm-hmm.
We're very much in sync and aligned here.
Mm-hmm.
I would be interested in a roster, and not for the sake of, for different needs, right? I would like to have at least 2 solid ones that I may be having intercourse with.
Yes.
And maybe another 2 or 3 that I'm dating and we're doing things, right? We're dating, We're out and about, we're going to concerts and dinners and all that stuff.
Okay. I'm going to say this caveat to mine.
Okay.
That sounds amazing. I think a part of me not wanting a roster is knowing like I'm not about to do the work for it. Like I'm not getting.
Oh God, we are so in sync. That's literally where I am.
And it's like for me, I'll go somewhere. Now, here's the thing, and I think this is where I have to do a shift. Like I have a couple of spots, like not too far from home, that I'll go sit at the bar, have a drink, have some food. Have I met niggas there? Sure. Am I interested in those niggas? Most of the time, not. Okay. So it's like I can see the benefit in it. One, I will have to push myself to do it more. And then it was like it's like getting out of the comfort zone and going to different spots, right?
Okay. See, for me, it's just leaving my fucking house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do that often either. Like I might take myself out to the bar like once bi-weekly. 2 if I'm feeling froggy, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times it's maybe like once bi-weekly is kind of how it comes out, that it happens, but I am not going out as much as I used to. And so that part gets a little tricky.
Yeah, I say this, that would be my ideal scenario. I don't go out that much, right? I like to be in my house. So when I do go out, but I'm also not, here's the thing too. I'm all for sisterhood and female empowerment and being in safe spaces with women. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when I go out, I want to see niggas. And I'm tired of paying
$50, $40, $60 to go to shit, and it's just bitches there.
Very true. You know what's funny? I went to an event on Saturday. Me and Shane went to an event, and there's this guy from the UK that reviews shows on YouTube or whatever. We watch him. He did a little DC thing at Ivy City Smokehouse. It was mainly women, except for the people who were like cast from the Ready to Love show, DC and Potomac seasons. I'm pretty goddamn sure it was all women. And the only dude I really talked to was this dude from Ready to Love. And it was kind of like, yeah, it was not dudes there at all. One. Two, Passport Cuddy was tweeting about this not too long ago, maybe a couple of weeks now.
She's fucking hilarious.
She cracks me up. But she went through like, what people should be doing with their dating profile. If dating profile is not for you, where are you going to meet men? And she was mentioning like, yes, sit at a bar somewhere with a TV because sports. And, she's like, and no, going out with your girlfriends do not count because men don't want to come up to a group of women.
Well, Brian literally just said that in last week's episode that, men don't like to approach women in groups.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll do that. And I switch up the places and, it's hit or miss. And like I said, it's not that I don't meet people. But yeah, just be dependent. So
I feel like that fucking song. God, who sings it? But God, who sung that song? Because when I say it, you're gonna crack out laughing. Remember Paula Cole? It was like, where have all the cowboys gone? That's where I feel about the niggas. Where have all the niggas gone? It ain't no niggas nowhere.
Yo, did you see that tweet? Oh, you might have put it in the Discord. I don't know. The girl was like, with the Biden law, so that means a new batch of niggas coming home.
Like, we need a new batch of niggas, Lord, because
I'm so tickled by that. But I was like, also, Jill does a lot of song. I'm not into.
Yeah, I don't know, but like,
but that might be the new batch. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. And it's
just really tough because
they be in Wegmans, but also when I see niggas in a grocery store, it's like
I be nervous though.
Hard to see if they single or not because it don't.
I be nervous sometimes when I see men in the grocery store because I'm like, okay, are you by yourself or you just separated from your person?
No, because I've definitely made eyes with somebody and then catch him in another aisle and sisters right there, and I'm like, see, why were you even?
Oh,
look away.
I ain't been pardoned, so I was in the Wegmans. Y'all know now the
niggas be in Wegmans.
The niggas be in Wegmans. They don't be in Aldi. I can't do that poor ass Aldi. I do hate Aldi. I cannot do it.
I go like once every 3 years.
I can't do it. Y'all know I can't do Aldi. I could do Lidl. But I can't do Aldi. Okay. So they're like Lidl's big sister.
Oh, okay.
It's like I feel like Lidl is more aligned to a Trader Joe's, maybe.
Oh, got you.
They all used to be the same company. So I feel like it's like Trader Joe's is the Lexus and Lidl is the Toyota. Mm-hmm. And then I don't even know what the fuck that is, but that's something. But that's how I feel like they would have. Okay. They were tiered, but apparently it was two brothers and then they separated. So one brother has Trader Joe's and now one brother has Aldi and Lidl.
Interesting.
Yes, but Lidl has like brighter lights. It smells better. The environment.
Come down here. I'm gonna have to take you to the Trader Joe's not far from me because they redid it, and it's a difference when you go in. But yeah, it's still, and I think it's how everything seems so like
tight. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah,
it's the experience of Wegmans. I get to go over here and maybe taste some cheeses and the bakery and the Asian wokery and the hot bar. Like it's the whole thing. But anywho,
it's good as fucking Wegmans. I don't.
Yo, the hot bar be hitting.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the playlist. I don't know about your Wegmans.
Yeah,
It's
all of
R&B
them.
jams.
I be in there singing like I don't even need my AirPods. I'll be like,
I don't.
Do.
Yeah, people be looking at me. I'm like, y'all, damn, have a good time.
Like 3 weeks ago, I'm in the Wegmans.
Mm-hmm.
And I have on my leggings, sneakers. I don't think it was hoodie time yet. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember. What was fake fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking through the Wegmans and you know how you feel somebody looking at you?
Mm-hmm.
So I turn and I see a guy and he kind of goes like and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey.
Right.
So he ain't come, I ain't go. I said, okay, maybe somebody, because you gotta be careful. The girl could be getting the cereal and he getting the milk. So we see each other again. This time it's up at the eggs. So he was playing around the eggs. So I look over and see his cart and I'm like, wait a minute, I think this is he's just shopping for him. Because our carts look real similar. Like it was just enough food for one. And I'm like, So he getting his eggs. I'm just standing there waiting because I wanted to get in there. And he was like, so at this point of all the times I was on the phone. So I did have my AirPod in. And so he walks by and he said something, but I couldn't hear because my AirPods. So my dumb ass just like, thank you. And like, I don't even know what he said.
So I get caught in the middle of that because sometimes I'll say, wait, what you say? And then sometimes I'll act like I heard it.
I think because he was so attractive, I just was, because I saw him up close and then I smelt him. I got a little stunned and I was just like, I can't, I got to play it cool. Oh, okay, thank you. And got the eggs. So when I turned around to put my stuff in the cart, he's gone. Like that nigga beeline. So I'm like, oh, so I'm pushing my little millennial cart, the little tutu. I'm pushing it.
That's
like,
the only one I use.
Me too. My head on swivel down all them aisles. Like, where is it? You know, Wegmans got the split aisle. So you could be, it's real easy to miss people with them split aisles. So I'm like, shit. I was like, I just did not see him. I did a lap around that whole store one more time.
Yeah.
Did not see him. I was like, well, fuck, Adrian, you gave it an A for effort. Yeah. Get the fuck on. Bitch. No. I check out.
Oh.
Have my bags. I'm pushing my cart. You know, in the movies, how you have that moment, they have that slow motion moment. That's literally what happened where everybody just faded away. And I turned, you know, Wegmans has the self-checkout and it's that wide gap. Everybody disappears. I just happen to look over. He's pushing his cart. He winks. And then it was like, everybody speed past and I lost him again. I was like, what? Wait, I go to the car.
Did you freeze or did he just move that quickly?
I don't know what happened, honestly. So I get to the car and so I call my friend back and I'm like, she not answering. I'm like, shit. So I text her like, yo, bitch, should I go back in? Because I feel real pressed now. He saw me leaving. So if I go back in, so I took my bag, a grocery bag, acting like, oh, you could say you just forgot something. Just get something. And you say you forgot it. So I got my little grocery bag because, you know, they be charging you that 5 cents now, child. And I go back in again, lap that motherfucker, do not see him. So I was just like, I guess we'll have that Wegmans connection. But I've been going back to the Wegmans at the same time. Maybe like, do I see him?
You know, that happens to me because it was a shoot. Sometimes I see the same people in Wegmans. So it just, but sometimes people, especially men, like, I don't know, it's weird because I feel like any men in the grocery store I get engaged with, they kind of just left it there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I was like, he didn't see that person come follow up and push up. So I gave a good earnest effort. But yes, I say this all to say building a roster is hard out here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to think, like, I met somebody a couple of months ago, but that, like, we didn't even really speak, like, and it was weird because I met him out sitting by myself, but I just didn't. I was like, how do I say something? Because again, like, he sat down next to me and I like, it was the fucking cologne just went over my whole face. I was like,
ain't nothing like a good smelling man, boy.
What is that? I was like, all right, first of all, relax. relax. And then I look, like the bar had a mirror like where the liquor is. So I look to see, because he had asked me like, oh, somebody sit here. And I was like, no. And so then I look and I'm like, okay, all right. And then I kind of like look over and I'm like, okay. But yeah, I just sparked a conversation. I asked him about the motherfucking soup. Like,
come on now.
I was like, can I ask you something? I was like, how's the soup? And, you know, from there we started talking or whatever, but it's like, you know, I know it's doable. It's just not as easy.
Yeah, I feel like you, like, I do understand that, like anything in life, everything takes work and effort. Like, okay, you want to drop some pounds, that takes some work and effort. You want to save money, that takes work and effort. You want to find a new job, that takes work and effort. So you want to find a nigga, that's going to take work and effort. And I feel like when I stack up all the shit that I want to exert work and effort into, finding niggas be at the bottom of the barrel.
The bottom of the list.
And it's like, it's tough because I really do be wanting to fuck the shit out these motherfuckers. But we got a listener letter.
Yeah.
So I asked a couple weeks ago, like, some questions on, like, ask me anything or some shit. And so people sent in these 2 questions. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to save these for an episode because I didn't feel like answering them then. But like I said, I thought your input. So we were talking about a roster. And this person says, and this has been a while since this has happened to me, child, but what would you do if you started having feelings for a guy on your roster? Not your face doing that.
I mean, I guess it's confusing because it's like, was there an expectation not to? And I'm going to say, yes, it's probably been a long while since I felt that. I probably just ignored them, honestly. If it wasn't a possibility of us moving forward, then I have to make the executive decision to know that these feelings are not factual. And if I'm going to continue to play this game with this person staying on my roster, despite knowing that it's not going to go anywhere, then I'm going to have to check me when I get in my feels.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is one of those things I'm learning a lot of things, and not just relationship based, but for a lot of people, for a lot of things, people do not want to have hard conversations, right? And so I feel like if people if people knew how to communicate and communicated properly and more often, hard conversations would not be scary. Mm-hmm. So this is one of these buckets where I feel like you could probably save yourself a ton of fucking heartache if you just say, look, we've been dealing, whatever. I like you.
That's it.
And you put them cards out there. He could say, you know that you aren't hiding in secrecy. You won't be around there acting dumb and simple in front of him because you caught feelings and you trying to play it cool, or you reading into his shit, or you searching his social media and all that bullshit. Just say it. And then say, you know, I enjoy your company or whatever y'all fucking doing, but I like you. And I'm interested in whatever you're interested in, because you didn't say, and I know because the characters, but you didn't say if you were interested in a relationship. Maybe you just want to spend more time with him, go on some dates versus whatever y'all are doing. So have the conversation. He could say, you know, I'm feeling you too. Let's try it. Or he could say, nope, I just want to keep it as it is. And then you still have a decision to say, that's not going to work for me. So I got to cut you loose.
And that's why I was a little confused by the question, because I feel like if I thought there was an opportunity to go further, then that question wouldn't cross my mind. But I don't know. Everybody doesn't think the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would just have the conversation. If it was a case where, you know, I hit you like, I already know this nigga don't want nothing, but like, I kind of like him now. Then, you know, maybe that will pop up more so for me. But if it's like,
I've had to reassess this with someone in saying, this is what it was and this is what it's been. But as I'm taking inventory of my feelings, so I do, and I think I've spoken about this on episodes before about doing check-ins with your people, right? Like it don't have to be some full-fledged a Tuesday at 7 p.m. We're going to schedule a conference call and talk about it. No, it really could just be, hey, y'all kicking it on the couch. Like, what's up? Like,
I recently had a sort of check-in conversation, and honestly, it was much needed, and it wasn't bad. It
they
wasn't
never are.
like there was no, it wasn't a argument. It's literally just a conversation and a discussion to understand where both people are coming from, and if you're on the same page, and if you want to be on the same page, or if you're not on the same page, then what does that mean? Because honestly, the only person that has to make a decision is you. Like, you can't worry about what somebody else is going to decide. What do you want? If it's not enough, then it's not enough.
And that has been the thing. Like, they usually often aren't scary. The only time I've had one of these conversations and it was super fucking frustrating was with somebody who just refused to communicate. But so that felt like pulling teeth. But any other time I've had these conversations, it's worked out and it's been okay. And it keeps me in line. And again, it's not, I don't like for my choice to ever be taken away. Right. Yeah. And so for me, it always keeps me aligned in saying, okay, I asked, this is what it was. Yeah. And now the choice is back on me. Are you accepting of this, or do you need to remove yourself? So, yeah, I think, you may have to just have that hard conversation because, and again, I'm going to take hard out of it. I think we make it hard because it's our feelings. We're afraid of rejection or what the person's going to say. But generally, the conversations aren't hard.
Fear. It's just the fear. And like, I'm the type of person too that if I get too much in my thoughts of thinking about possible outcomes, I'm never thinking the best possible outcome. Mm-hmm. It's rare that I go to that first. So I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not doing mental gymnastics with myself when I can just ask a fucking question.
You could just literally ask and find out. So that is our advice. Go ahead, ask this. Yeah. All right, this second one, very similar in nature. I'm like, it must be going around.
Right.
Do you break up and keep in touch, or do you cut it off completely?
Well, I'm typically a breakup and I'll never see you again type of girl. But I think it depends. It depends on what the breakup is about. I do believe, though, that no matter if you're deciding to keep in contact or not, there's probably some space that's needed immediately afterwards. Mm-hmm. I think there's just necessary time because sometimes, your need to be friends or stay in touch is out of codependency or being used to that relationship or being used to that. Like, if you have kids and shit, that's a whole nother story. But if it's just like something where it could be a clean break, I would actually ask myself, why do I want to continue to be friends with them? What impact is that going to have on my life? Is that healthy for me? Is it necessary? I mean, my mama say I let her like walk away from people or like I cut a or I cut a motherfucker off. But it's like, for me, I think that as I got older, because I think when I was younger, I used to hold on to people just like, people like, oh, I've known you forever. Like, we're still cool. We're still friends, whatever. But I think as I get older, I realize some things are really reasons and seasons, and it's not necessary.
I'm nodding.
It's just really not necessary to kind of hold on to stuff. Like, maybe they were just there for a moment in time or however much time you all were together, and maybe that was just it. So I don't really know how to tell. So, like, I can't tell anybody what to decide for that. Me, I'm most likely. There's very few people that I have not completely just, exit stage right on.
Yeah, no, I was nodding with everything you were saying. I've actually done both.
Mm-hmm.
I can say I'm not somebody who feels like I need to be friends with people that I break up with, but I'm okay if we're still in a cordial place that we can converse. So I do have one ex-boyfriend. That shit was done. But every now and then, and I'll also say this, his communication with me may just mostly be on Instagram where he's liking my pictures or he'll send some eyes emoji on an Insta story or some shit. But if it is via text, it's usually me. And it's me like asking something, but it's never anything salacious or that would give that person the opinion that I'm interested again. But we do have cordial, open door enough, right? That we can still converse without having any hostility. We're also not friends. Like, let's make it very clear.
Right. And I know that you mentioned that. I think most guys that I've dealt with that I don't anymore, if I interact with them, it is via Instagram. And I barely post. So
yeah.
If I post my story, then I know there's going to be certain people that I'll hear from. And, hey, how you been? Maybe like, whatever, but that's the end of it.
So I also have had a situation, and this one is a little more traumatic for me. But yeah, when that shit was over, depends on how it ends for me.
Yeah.
That shit was dead. And dead to the point, it was like years of non-communication. Years. Somehow there was a reconnection, and not on any, let's get back together shit, but it was a reconnection. And that shit ended again. And it was a reminder, like, bitch, that shit was in a tomb with the wheel rolled in front of it for a reason. And your ass should have left it there and not resurrected. Yeah. So sometimes you gotta learn those lessons. But yeah, for me, like, I think I take it on a case by case basis. But for the most part, there will be no consistent communication because we're not fucking friends. Like, I have enough friends that I don't need any ex of mine to be a friend of mine.
Yeah, it's definitely case by case, but more often than not, I'm probably good. The last time I was dating, I've never saw him again, and I hope to never. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel.
It's like block everywhere. I don't even think we followed each other anyway, but just in case you want to be nosy, block. There's no.
And the crazy thing is, you just talk about block. The person I was just talking about, all of a sudden recently, the tomb has been sealed again for at least a year now. But I'll be seeing you in my Insta story. When I swipe up every now and then, I'll be like, you don't follow, but you there.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Very.
Let me tell you, I don't.
Very. Fuck these niggas, yo.
Yeah, I don't. I was not going to do that today to these niggas.
Nope, I'ma say it. Done.
And I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I don't ever think somebody I dealt with, somebody I felt like I'm going to have access to them. I just can't get with that mentality. Like, for what? I don't know what it is. And most of the time, I am not going to reach out and say anything. It is not me. I don't have any questions. I don't think there's shit you can help me with. I like my daddy. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, or my brother, it's nothing I have to say to, especially with men, because 9 times out of 10, if I stop fucking talking to you, you was on some bullshit. You was on some bullshit. And if you're on your bullshit, you don't need to be my friend and be on some bullshit, because that'll really make me want to beat your ass. Because friends that be on bullshit make me want to beat their ass. But that's another story for another time. But I will beat your ass. Like, I want to.
Look at me. I'm nodding like.
So it's like, no need to be friends. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a desire to be friends with most people that I'm no longer communicating with. And I tried it thinking, okay, it's been time, you've healed, you've moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. So trust your gut. Just feel that shit close.
No, I'm not gonna say that.
She shake her head giggling. She not gonna say
it because I think about it. I said all that, which is very true, but I'm like, there's probably a person or two that slipped through the cracks in that fold, but it's just like it was very different situations, and again, circumstances. So
yeah. So I hope that answered our not answered, but helped give you some look, niggas.
Because you're like that bitch be lying. Like, okay, 1 out of I'm gonna just say 50 is nothing.
What is that like? Little what? I don't know the statistics.
Percentage 0.005. Like
like statistically that's like
nothing. So yeah.
Statistically, it doesn't give a fuck. Like it doesn't make a difference. So no, I'm with you. I'm trying to stay hopeful for us ladies out here. I don't know though.
I mean, I am too, but I don't know. I try to think about it less. I try not to like focus my thoughts on it. And then it's like if I'm in a mood to go be outside, like maybe I'll run to a Home Depot and walk around. Matter of fact, I gotta go to Home Depot this week and a goddamn dealership.
There you go.
Maybe I'll
there you go
that day. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So certain things, it's like I'm hopeful, but I think it's gonna be a cold winter, and that's just what it is.
Oh Lord, that's the part. I'm like, Lord, I'm just was really trying. All I had enough energy for at this moment, at this juncture, was for a cuddy buddy for the cold. And it is October 18th that we are recording this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm failing.
Yeah, and I didn't cut my heat on. So
oh yeah, my heat been on, y'all.
I was thugging it out a little bit when we was hitting like 75 in the day, but like in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm cutting that bitch on. Like it's a little chill, not to chill off the house, but now I'm just like, oh, it's getting cold. I think they said today's the last day that the sun sets at 7.
Yep.
I'm gonna become a hermit. You know how I do. So it's like if I ain't got it in the bag yet, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just highly unlikely. It's just highly unlikely.
Yeah, I'm trying to give up hope. It's gonna be me, my toys and lube, and Foria Wellness.
Shout out to Foria. And I haven't even been busting my own self down like that as much. Like I've really just been like,
girl, let me tell you.
I don't want to be, because it got to a point where I was like, are you horny or is this habit? Like, what is happening?
Shit.
It's like, are you horny or is it like you're bored? And then you're like, you know what would be great? An orgasm. Let me go have one. It's like, I don't know.
So I kind of feel you on that. Like I don't think it was consciously, but I just was like, I got to the point at one time, like I said, no, Adrian, we have a problem here because, and I don't, all my sex toys was dirty because I was getting lazy, like doing it right before bed and then like throwing it on the floor and going to sleep. So then I would get up and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to wash it and then leave it on the bathroom counter, not wash it. So when I did that, I was like, yo, you've used every toy. And that's what made me mad because I didn't feel like plugging in my magic wands. And I was like, oh, I don't feel like doing this because to do them, it's like not one really need my bed and I'm gonna have to stand up or do some other position, which I'm fine with. But in the moment, so I was like, I did have that assessment, like, why are we masturbating every night? Which is not a bad thing, but it's not my pattern.
Yeah, and I got into a fucking routine. It was like, oh, if I work out mid-morning after my workout, and then there's something about working out, especially if I lift weights.
But here's the thing, bitch, this is what it is. And I had tweeted this shit and this be it before we wrap up. The ancestors and the elders did not prepare me for how crazy your sex drive gets. And I feel like this is cruel that at 37 going on 38, that whole scene in The Best Man, she was like, I'm horny, my hormones are raging out of control. I feel like a fucking horny teenager right now. Like, if I literally could,
I know it's bad.
my nigga would be so sick of me because I'm like, oh, yo, we don't gotta go nowhere. As much as I just said I wanted
no,
to with a nigga.
No, seriously.
No, I'm draining them balls for a little bit because I am so fucking horny. Like, if I really did have somebody, I would be wanting to have sex every single day. The sex drive is wild.
The masturbation thing, I will work out and then I'm like, let me masturbate, then shower. And it was every day, damn it. And I was like, oh, bitch, you have got to relax. But no, it's true. Because that man whose cologne off, I swear, my vagina decided to pulsate. And I was like, I should go home because that, like, what? How horny am I? I'm outside in public. I don't know this nigga. I was like, ma'am. Like, I literally looked down like, if you don't fucking relax, bitch, calm down. It's stupid.
And I had to research it because it was saying women in your late 30s and early 40s, your sex drive is at the strongest it'll be in your entire life.
Wow.
And so I'm like, oh my God, I still got more years of this. Like, I gotta get somebody.
Yeah, I need to exert it because I'm tired. And it's just like, and it's also cruel because we have sex with men and they are definitely a lot of them
they're on the decline.
And that shit, like, how the fuck? What? I don't know.
Yes, I don't like how that works. Like, our sex drive is revving, and they're on the decline.
Yeah, I don't even be talking about how horny I am.
Oh, so is this?
Because I feel like it's embarrassing.
No, it kind of like low-key is, but this is a safe space, and I feel like someone listening to this right now was sitting there nodding like, me too, Boonie, me too, Shika. Like, I'm horny as fuck. And it's not fair. So I'm like, now I understand why women are cougars, because something is wrong with the meat as well. And I had an encounter where I was about to give it up and this motherfucking dick was a noodle and he wasn't embarrassed about it. And I'm not saying not to be embarrassed about that he needed to, but the fact that he didn't, because most men have that moment of panic, shame. So when he was just cool about it, I'm like, oh, this nigga know his dick don't work. So he was just hoping that maybe possibly with me, it would have went up maybe, but this was his norm. And I'm like, no, Jesus. This is not fair that my sex drive is out of control and these fools can't even maintain an erection or even get a fucking erection. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, the last times I was having sex with a man, they did not have that issue, thankfully, but I'm still scared because I've come across that shit. I've come across that a couple of years ago. Like, are you okay?
Me too.
And I was just like, wait, like, you're 1 year older than me. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, bro, because
the meat's a week.
It's
I'm sorry. I don't even know what else to say.
Are weak? Is that the title? Because that is wild.
The meats are weak.
The meats are weak. And I just feel like, I don't know what you do, because what do you do when you say he seemed like he was just okay with it? It was a thing where he just kind of like shit laid back, like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, he was just like, sorry. And I was just like,
oh yeah, but
I want to fuck though. So what we gonna do?
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll be like, oh, like, can you help me out?
No,
whatever, and they'll try.
That's what I'm saying. This is a new experience for me. I think he's really just gave up. Like, this dick don't work no more. And I'm
sorry, but I'm gonna need you to tell me your dick don't work before I get there.
Oh, bitch! I also right before I had deleted them dating apps for the last time. I had met up with this guy for coffee, and that had been I've been giving Brian a lot of credit
but I had been doing his little version of a snowball date. So my whole thing is like, oh, let's meet up for a cup of coffee to see if some vibes before we go. So the coffee date was cool. So I met up with this one guy, and like within 20 minutes or so, he asked, yeah, how important is sex to you? And I'm like, I think I did exactly what my face just did. And so he was like, oh no, I didn't mean to, offend you, but I like to say this to ask this of people because I have performance issues and I understand that sex is important to people. And so now he's like, I'm comfortable about this issue that I feel like I need to bring it up pretty early on if sex is important to you. So, he was 43.
I mean, that's
to me, that's young, right? But like, I know for men who don't take care of their bodies could be experiencing medical issues that then lead to erectile dysfunction. But I was just like, I commended brother, because that took balls and a really secure sense of self to not only ask that question, but to explain it in the way he did, because he didn't sugarcoat that shit. I knew exactly what the fuck he was saying to me. So I didn't, and I just kind of answered like, oh, thank you for the explanation. I never answered it, but in my mind is like, I won't be seeing you again. Right. But I thanked him for the explanation. I was like, I think you should rephrase that when you say it to people to make it less jarring. I said, because to me, when you're saying, oh, how important is sex to you, immediately I'm like, oh, this nigga want to fuck, and I'm turned off. So, and I said, as you saw on my face, I just think you need to rework that, massage that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you asking on the first date.
Yeah. And I think that's important to say. And kudos, yeah, for sure. Kudos for him to do that. I mean, I guess it depends on their issue with it, because I just always wonder, like, what's the next step then? Like, are you doing things? But also, if you're on medication and you have to be on medication, sometimes there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, because that was one thing Mama Ratchet told me very, very early, is if you are dating a nigga on blood pressure medication, that dick is done.
Wow.
So that's your Boonie hoe tip of the week.
Well, we're going to have to figure this out, because I'm not dating nobody young. I don't think I am.
Well, I get why cougars exist now, because if men have their sexual peak in their 20s and you are over here foaming at the pussy at 40, then
now they dead. Did they have a seizure? What just happened?
Oh my God.
Foaming at the pussy. Okay. No.
They might be the dicks are dead. I know that much.
They are done. I get it too. It's funny. I'm gonna think about that.
Oh, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should try a little 20-year-old.
Like Miss Boo, which I haven't been seeing him consistently like that, but my like Miss Boo still, he be calling me out the line to take me to self-checkout, and then he'll ring up all my shit, and I'm like, that's so nice. Because I don't go to self-checkout because I don't want to work.
That's my thing. I'm fucking paying y'all. Why the fuck am I doing this shit? I only go like if I have like one thing and I need to like, just run in and out. But if I have a cart full of shit, I'm waiting in the line. I don't give a fuck.
I don't be in a rush. I don't be in a rush. And I bag this shit up. And he be like, no, I'll do it for you. And I'm like, all right. So
yeah, because I'm like, y'all got Wegmans insurance, not me. All right, Shika. Well, this has been a treat and a delight.
Thank you. I had fun. I didn't even know what the fuck we were going to talk about today. But
isn't that the wonder of the Boonie Breakdown?
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye, girl.
Bye.
All right, that is it for this week's episode. I want to thank the homie Shika for coming on and giving us some good laughs, kikis, and letting us get all up in her business. Also, be sure to support our sponsor, Goalie Gummies. Be sure to use the code Boonie Breakdown to save on your purchase over at goalie.com. All right, so we're in a groove here. We'll have some other guests coming up In future episodes, I'm really, 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 really excited to have some new voices to the podcast. And I think you're really going to enjoy what they have to say. And if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or any of your favorite apps that you listen to podcasts on. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. You can do those on Apple Podcasts and you can do them over in Spotify now. You could hear your review on the next episode. Follow us on all social media. Share the episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. I don't give a fuck because I don't make these pretty images for nothing. Have a dope ass week. Stay healthy, safe, and sane. Thank you for listening. And remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Homaste. Until next time.